Alrighty guys, quick update on the Bobcat. I recently bought this machine. It was a used machine. It's a 2016 Bobcat T770. It weighs 10,600 pounds, about 94 horsepower, give or take. I mean, it's not a bad machine. Like I said, the first time I took it out and loaded that dirt with it, man, I noticed it just smoking like crazy. I mean, smoke pouring out the exhaust. With it being an emissions machine, it shouldn't be smoking at all. So, I mean, you can see. So, anyway, I knew something was up, and then I went and started working on fixing a yard, kind of spreading some dirt and what have you on it, kind of trying to shape this yard up and stuff. And anyway, I worked about 4 hours, and it just suddenly quit. Went into the dirt pile to scoop a load of dirt, and all of a sudden, just like you shut the key off. Couldn't get to start, couldn't get to start. Come out the primer bulb, try to pump it up, nothing, sucking air. So that night I went home and done a bunch of Googling and YouTubing, and which is very common with these machines. The number one culprit on that was the fuel tank pickup tube. So anyway, I got it into my buddy's shop here and raised the cab up, and I don't know if I can point to it or not, but right in front of the hydraulic, that blue hydraulic pump, right down underneath that valve body, kind of right there, is the fuel pickup tube. So anyway, I pull it out, finally was able to get in there, lay on my belly, get in there, and I was able to get it fished. There's a rubber grommet that goes down in the tank. Was able to get it fished up out of there. Sure enough, she's broke right off. If you follow me on Instagram at DirtDaddy953, you can go on there and see the pictures that I put on there holding that thing in my hand. But anyway, put the new tube. I'd gotten a new tube from Bobcat. Put a new tube. There's a strainer and a check ball. And by the way, those of you with Bobcats, don't try to take and blow air pressure back through your main line that comes up back here to your fuel filter, because that check ball on the end of that tube will blow off there, or it'll blow your tube off of the elbow. So anyway, but anyway, I got that put back in there, primer bulb primed right up, and so anyway, on to the second thing, which was trying to deal with or figure out why the crazy thing is smoking like a D9, man. I mean, just all constantly. Well, I say constantly. As long as you were sitting wide open and not moving, it didn't smoke at all. But the minute that you even went to turn or anything, it started putting out a haze. And then if you got into a pile, man, it'd just fog out of there. So anyway, after more research, again, we kind of come back to the fact that these Doosan engines, D34 Doosan engines, have a very, very finicky and a very, very touchy injection system on them. They're a common rail, for which the guy, some of the YouTube videos, there's one guy on there, I can't remember his name, it's like how I did it or how I do it or something like that. I apologize for that, but super informative. He's a mobile Bobcat tech. And man, he is just awesome on these machines. If you haven't seen him and you got a Bobcat, Google him and do a search on YouTube. I mean, he deals with this stuff every day, and I mean, he is awesome at it. So anyway, I've not done a leak down test or a leak test on the injectors because I'm going to pull them. And I'm going to take them to a diesel shop and have them put it on their test stand, check them and clean them and see, you know, once they put pressure to them, they'll be able to tell right away if they're good or bad. But that's the only thing really that I can think of it can be, because I did check the turbo. The turbo's right back here. I pulled the boot off last night, got in, spun the turbo's spinning, got a little bit of play in it, which is pretty common. I mean, most every turbo that I've ever dealt with, I have a little play in it, but anyway, had a little bit of play in it, but it was spinning freely, so it's not the turbo. So it's got to be the injectors. So anyway, I'm gonna pull them now, and in the morning, I'm gonna run them to the diesel shop and have them put them on their test, and anyway, put them on their test stand rather, and then we'll see what they say. But more than likely, it's going to be new injectors. I've done a bunch of Googling and stuff and found a decent place that's got them pretty cheap, $400 a piece. Bobcat wants over $1,000 a piece for them. So these are brand new, not remanned, Delphi, which is the injection system, so they're OEM. And so anyway, that's the route we're probably going to go with them. So anyway, let's get these injectors pulled out of here, and we'll kind of see what it looks like. All right, well, the Bobcat guy made it look real easy, but we got to pull these boots off. Pull the injector lines. I've looked at different kits online. They actually have a complete fuel system kit for this machine. Injector pump, fuel rail, 4 injectors, fuel lines, all of the return lines. I mean, everything. It's $3,500, I believe. 3,500, I think that's what it was, 3,500 for everything. They say that you should replace the fuel rail when you put new injectors in. So I'll look at that and see what I can see in there maybe, and kind of go from there. But I don't want to wipe out a new set of injectors, but apparently the system is, even micron pieces of dirt can get in here and screw these up. I don't want to wipe a new set of injectors out. Like I said, about $440 a piece. There's another place I found online that had them like 250, but it was overseas, and you had like a 7-day wait. So, and that's why Bobcat went with this bigger fuel filter. That's an upgrade, that fuel filter is. They had a smaller one. This one's bigger, has more filtering capability, and this is a super high micron rated filter to keep junk out of the injection system. But a piece of construction machinery, I don't care, you're gonna get dirt, you're gonna get fuel contamination. So I don't know really why Doosan put a system on their machine or on their engine that would be that susceptible to failure because of dirt. So anyway, let's get these fuel lines off. According to the Kubota guy online, he says these are very good engines, but the fuel system is the expensive weak point. So, what are the chances of me getting all of them off there, getting them all loosened up, and just pull them off without losing any. One thing I know for sure, this thing's a magnet for dropping stuff. I mean, things disappear when you drop them. I'm gonna run by Bobcat tomorrow and I need to be working, but I also need to have this thing up and going. And I'm not gonna lie, I've spent a lot of money this year in maintenance, having people work on my machines and stuff, and sometimes it pays off and sometimes it doesn't, but I've spent a lot of money this year on maintenance, repairs. So I'm gonna try to do most everything that I can myself, but double-edged sword, you know, you need to be out working, making money, but it's kind of a moot point if you're giving it all the way. I mean, granted, sometimes there's just some things I simply can't do, but you know. Alrighty, let's see what we got in here. Well, surprisingly, the thing's pretty clean, with the exception of dirt like that I just dropped in there. But I mean, all in all, pretty clean. See if I can ever so gingerly keep this from I don't want that down the cylinder hole either. Probably should. Probably should have power washed this. I don't think I got too much in there. Nah, I'll just have to change oil. Probably try to change oil a little sooner. And I'm just afraid that valve cover's leaking. Well, let's get those hold downs pulled. What size are those? They're Allen's. They're Allens or Torx, I can't tell yet. I think they're Allens. See what I can find Allen wise. Go get my other toolkit. All right, I'll be back. All right, well, it appears to be a 6mm. Appears to be. Make sure that's the hole down. Yeah. These suckers are tight. To find out what the torque spec is on them. Maybe the ratchet's skipping. Well, I remember him saying sometimes you have to pop them. You have to pop the injector up to get those hole downs out, so. Figure out this clamp. I don't want to break those. Can I study this a minute, guys? Well, I don't know if that recorded any or not, but I may have just been talking to myself. But anyway, I finally got these clips off. These wire retainer, you squeeze these. I had to take a screwdriver in here to pry these apart to get them off, but they popped off. So right now I'm pulling the injectors, and I'm trying to keep everything clean as I possibly can. I just changed oil on this, but I'll probably just run it a little bit and change it again. It was nasty anyway. Whoa, baby. I didn't want to do that. That sucker came right on out there now. I got my glasses. That's such a violent come out of there. Some bitches to fall. Yeah, you know, keep around, knock them off. They're gonna go right down in there and you'll never find them. What's gonna happen? Man, all of them look good. As far as they're all really dirty, but I mean, it ain't like they're all carbon or you know, cylinders appear to be dry. That was my biggest fear, was running this so long. If it's over fueling, I'll wash the cylinder out. And Lord, I don't want to do that, because this engine is ungodly expensive for no bigger than it is. So and all the fire rings are out, copper fire rings. So I don't know whether to pull that fuel rail. A lot of guys will just take these off, pull the fuel rail off, and come all out at one piece. But like I said, I just don't know whether to do that or not, but I'm most definitely gonna grab some more rags and cover that up. I wish I had a scope, an electronic scope, so I could look down into them cylinders to see how they look. But it all looks good down in there, for the most part. I mean, this ain't gonna seal up everything, but it'll keep. Hopefully it will keep the majority of the crap out. Those return lines, that shouldn't matter, because even if those were to get a little crap in them, they're gonna should go right back and come back in, or go back into the tank, I think. I don't think they're gonna. Well, wrong again. It goes back into the injection pump, which I'm assuming would send it, either reuse the fuel, which is very possible. Again, I'm not a diesel fuel system expert by any scream of the imagination, but that's it. I don't know, they don't look that bad. They may be completely plugged up. There's a bunch of, I mean, super tiny holes right in that point, and it sprays out this way. But you won't know until he puts pressure to them. He puts pressure to them to see if they're going to push out the return, or if they're going to start leaking out here, like the internals is not holding the pressure. So I'm over fueling someplace pretty bad. So like I said, the turbo spun wasn't extremely loose, wouldn't pull in and out much. So I find it hard to believe it's a turbo because it was still responsive. I mean, it wasn't like it'd fall on its face for the most part. So it's got to be a fueling issue. In my mind, it's got to be a fueling issue. So screw around and lose all these. Looks to me like the carbon ring is towards the engine side. Concave side there. Yeah. Yeah. I got it right. So anyway, guys, well, that is all I can do right now till I run them. Hopefully they'll be able to get done with them tomorrow. No guarantee on that. But we shall see. Again, you know, not something that I wanted to do on a machine I just bought and I've only had for a week and a half. But when you buy a used piece of machinery, you just never know what's going to happen. You know, this is as I mentioned, it's a friend of mine that was had some medical issues. Told me he got behind with the finance company, and they were going to come get the machine. So he reached out to me in need, and I felt compelled to try to help him. I wasn't looking. I kicked it around a little bit about, you know, getting one, but, you know, I wasn't really ready to pull the trigger right now, and so, but it hit, and it's like I said, in a situation where he was in need, and he is now back in the hospital. I just found out last night he is back in the hospital, and sounds like he's going to have to get some toes, maybe both big toes amputated. He's been having some foot issues, so he's going to have to get both toes, the way it's sounding, and they don't know if they're going to have to take anything else down there. So as much as I would like to jump up and down and spit and sputter, me having to fix this thing right now, you know, he didn't need that, and he didn't need, if it wasn't his fault on the medical issues, and he didn't need his credit all jacked up. I don't know how his, you know, financial history is. I don't know, but anyway, he reached out to me in need, and I just, again, I felt compelled to try to help him, and you know, like I said, I'd been kicking one around, and so I've mentioned before, You know, I don't know, the Bobcat would have been my first pick, but you know, it presented itself. We'll see what happens. Got brand new tracks on it. It's I don't know that it's been treated real well, not necessarily by him, but the previous, you know, it's got awful nasty in there, and I'm extremely anal about that. It's just driving me nuts. I mean, there's mud and crap on top of that fuel tank that deep that I scraped out of there. There's so many electronics on this. I just felt like I didn't need to be power washing it, all these computers and all these electronic crap on here. I just didn't want to get a big power washer in there and start blowing crap everywhere. But anyway, I may have to start doing something, I don't know. But it's full of, I mean, absolutely full of stuff, mud and crap. So anyway, the you know, the Bobcat up here, which is their quick connect, if you will. I knew it had some play in it, but there's a good 1/4 inch play, and it's coming from right down here. I don't know if you can. It's the pin and bushing. It would be this pin and bushing right here. So there's a good 1/4 inch movement there, if not 3/8 of an inch. I don't want it to get into the arms, so I'm going to have to take care of that right away. There's also some play here. You know, I'm not looking to have everything extremely tight, but I got to get that pin down there fixed. Oops, got to get that fixed before it gets into the loader arm, and I have to have it welded and bored, and I don't want to do that. So, you know, and like I said, the dump cylinders, there's some movement in there too. I may see how much the pins and stuff are, but I'm sure that's not going to be cheap, because seeing what I've seen of Bobcat so far is like, holy crap. I'll never complain about Caterpillar again on prices. So anyway, guys, I'm going to shut this video off here. I don't know if it's going to end up attached to another video, if I'm going to make one solely on this and kind of combine it with some work that I've done with the machine. Like I said, brand new tracks. So it's and I mentioned it in one of the other videos that I've done, maintenance videos, that idler. Yeah, you can just see. You can't see because I got all these covers here, but anyway, that idler needs replaced. I'm not going to worry about it right now. Like I said, all in all, the machine's not a bad machine. It's clean. It's not beat all to pieces. It's been worked, but you know, shouldn't have to worry about the fuel pickup for a while. Machine got 2,500 hours on it to 2016. Again, about 10,600 pounds and 94-ish horse, 93, 94 horse, something like that. So anyway, it's a fair sized machine. You know, if I get her up and going, we don't have any damage to the engine or anything, then I'm going to get some attachments and stuff for it. So anyway, there's a lot of potential there. There's skid steers in this part of the country. I mean, everybody and their brother's got 2 or 3, seems like. But anyway, all right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave comments, ring that notification bell, and that way you know when I post new videos. Follow me on Instagram, DirtDaddy953. So anyway, guys, we'll catch you later.